Hello dear friends, Judgement Day plus 51, the second continuation. Yeah, I was telling the story about Karl Marx, Slobodan Penezić Krcun, Marshal Tito, again of course, the great leader. Also have shared with you the latest COVID statistics. Maybe something about the King Alexander. This is his, the boulevard is carrying his name. Honestly speaking, I don't know much about the King Alexander, but shame on me. Yeah, it seems that his idea following the First World War to unite the South Slavic countries. Well, now we can judge. But let me maybe tell you actually about some events prior. And one of my theories. Events prior to Kralj Alexander, the Balkan Wars, they were the essence of and the root cause of many things that were happening afterwards in the Balkan Peninsula. In the first Balkan War started in the way that four countries, Serbia, Bulgaria, Greece and Montenegro, agreed to start the war against the Ottoman Empire simultaneously. And there was a kind of a plan what were the ultimate goals, which territories should belong to whom, etc., etc. Greece logically was asked to come from the south. Because Greece back then was divided, today's Greece was divided between the smaller Greece, the Athens region, up until, I believe everything up to Larissa or Volos was within the Athens Greece, whereas the Thessaloniki area, the whole northern Greece, was under the Ottoman Empire. So they started their campaign from the south, aiming at Thessaloniki essentially, and the wider area of Macedonia around Thessaloniki. Serbs were practically coming from the north, from Belgrade southwards. Bulgarians were their job was to fight the Turks into the direction of Istanbul. And Montenegrins were practically just fighting for their own country and a bit wider area, parts of today's Albania, around Drač, etc. And everything went so well that that nobody expected. It seems that the Ottoman Empire was already a dying monster. So surprisingly well, all the practically progress of all armies was, except for Bulgarians, that the only place where the Ottomans practically were fighting more heavily was this direction towards Istanbul. Of course, they at all costs they wanted to keep Istanbul in their possession, but literally at all costs. So all the other three countries practically managed to achieve more than they ever hoped. Talking about Serbia, Bulgaria and Montenegro, more than they ever dreamed actually of. So Serbia practically went all the way south, conquering practically not only the area south of Niš, but also the entire today's northern Macedonia. I mean the ex-Fyrom, or the ex-Republic of Macedonia, I mean, within Yugoslavia. Also, we went to the coast practically together with Montenegrins, liberated practically the entire Montenegro and parts of today's Albania. And Bulgarians did show some progress, and Greece, I mean the Greeks were progressing extremely well towards Thessaloniki. At a certain point of time, the Bulgarians realized that they will not be able to achieve what they initially hoped for. And just to remind that back then, probably at that point of time, Bulgarian army was probably the strongest out of three. So they of course continued pushing the Ottomans towards Istanbul, but at the same time, they at some point of time they decided to go south towards Thessaloniki, because secretly they were hoping that maybe they will be able to get part of the coast, so that to secure the access to Mediterranean, I mean practically part of the coast around Thessaloniki, and if they are lucky, maybe also the Thessaloniki itself. And they also progressed very well in this direction. However, the Greeks were just slightly better. So the Greek army was able to enter the city just 8 hours before the Bulgarian army came to the walls of the city. Could you imagine the 8 hours difference? And these 8 hours actually have decided the destiny of the city. Because once the Greeks have entered the city, they of course did not allow anymore for the Bulgarian army to enter the city. So the Bulgarian army has camped in front of the city for months practically, just waiting to see what will happen and how will everything finish. Of course, back then these were the ally armies, but the allies this is so, there is an old saying, says practically in war and in love everything is allowed. But at the end the Bulgarians have withdrawn from the area around Thessaloniki, and since they were not able to penetrate deeper into the territory of Turkey, I mean closer to Istanbul, they realized practically that they were left with, as we say in Serbia, short sleeves. So all other three armies won much greater territories than they ever hoped for, except for the Bulgarian army. And then they demanded, since the Greeks were not willing to allow them to take parts of today's northern Greece, especially the area going to the coast, they asked also the Serbs to divide practically today's Macedonia, I mean the northern Macedonia, into half, more or less, so that they also get some fair share of the prey. And this is where I believe the Serbs have made the biggest mistakes probably in the entire history. They said no, and this is how the Second Balkan War started, because then Bulgaria has declared war to all three allies, I mean the allies of the First Balkan War, and they, despite some initial victories, at the end they were heavily defeated. Obviously we cannot win war against 3 opponents at the same time, and still fearing that the Turks may come back, recover and come back. But they remembered this. They remember this very well, and then when the First World War started, Germany, that also knew about all these events and knew all about the desire of Bulgaria to have the territories of the Macedonia and the northern Greece. They made a pact with Bulgaria, and after the two glorious victories of the Serbian army in the first two attacks of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the third attack was, first of all, it was supported by the Germans, heavily supported by the Germans, and plus they made a pact with the Bulgarians, so there was no possibility, zero possibility for Serbia to fight against on the two fronts, I mean at the back against the Bulgarians, and then also resisting the joint attacks of the Austro-Hungarians and Germans. And of course then we made this fatal withdrawal, the Golgotha via Albania all the way to Corfu. First to Drac in Albania, but then also further down to Corfu, to the coast opposite of the island of Corfu. Okay, at the end Serbia made a victory again against Bulgarians when we practically breached the Kaymakchalan front, the so-called Thessaloniki front, but the main battle was happening at the Kaymakchalan mountain peak, when we again defeated the Bulgarian army supported by the Austro-Hungarians, and then have pushed them all the way to Sofia. Only hours were practically preventing us from conquering Sofia, but the great powers then have intervened again and ordered our army to stop there. But okay, it costed us the lives of 30% of our population back then, the First World War. And then the Second World War came, and then again Germany made a pact with Bulgaria, and again the Bulgarians were practically killing a lot of Serbs in the area of the East Serbia. But also they also suffered a lot, afterwards, and they also suffered a lot in the First World War, not to mention about the Second Balkan War. So what would have happened had we allowed the Bulgarians to take some of the territories after the First Balkan War? According to my opinion, the ideal decision of our commanders would be to, of course, first to split the territories and give the Bulgarians the fair share, and then also offer them a kind of the alliance, even more than alliance, maybe even some kind of confederation with the Bulgarians. According to some my rough calculations, if this have happened, instead of the 8 million of Bulgarians and 7-point-something millions of Serbs, actually 8 million of Serbs, today these two countries would be having 50 million each. So the alliance or the confederation of 100 million people at the Balkan Peninsula would be by far the most dominant power in this part of the world. But it did not happen that way, and now it's only in the domain of the theory, what I was now saying. Okay, we are approaching Ada Mall and AdaCiganlija. Ada Mall on our left, the viaduct leading to Banovo Brdo on our right, but we are going straight, but not a bus lane, but a regular lane. let's see after a month or more what's happening at AdaCiganlija. AdaCiganlija written in the flowers. So you see a very nice sign, AdaCiganlija. Let's see, some cyclists are there. Let's see if the entrance is being charged or not. Yes, they are charging. Okay. Okay, bye for now. Thanks for watching.